was something, wasn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
That was something. Wow.
That's our new intro.
Just right off the bat. Hey there, folks. How's it going? It's another
Heard of
What is it?
Owens came cruising through.
That's right. Technically, a group of Owen Wilsons is called a Congress.
Is that right?
Yeah. Why do they
Okay.
give animal groups, like the collective nouns of animals, such like weird and varied names? Like I found out the other day that a group of worms is called a coil, I think is what it's called, or something like that.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. It's like
I think if you're someone who's you made the discovery, it's just a fun treat for you, and you're like, yay! Now I get to come up with a fun word.
You've just discovered a new animal, the Boopadoop. What are you gonna call a group of them? Oh.
Well, when a handful of Boopadoops get together, it's called a 6-piece McNugget.
It's called a Betty. a Betty of Boopadoops.
Boopadoops have formed a Betty.
That's right.
We need to get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god, they're dangerous when they're in a Betty.
Yeah, they get violent.
That's right. Oh man, the alpha Boopadoop is coming. Oh dear.
Oh, you don't want to be around that's mating season for the Boopadoops, and
That's
everybody
right.
knows how they get.
And they get real.
They'll kill you.
Welcome, folks. It's another episode of DrawBomb. It's the show where we. Brandon, how are you?
Oh, I'm great, Ian. How are you? How you doing?
It's just another day in the life, you know what I mean, or another life
Another
of
day
the
in the
day.
life of Ian.
You know what I mean?
Oh my
Another-
god!
Oh, oh, oh.
You watch out for this guy, everyone. He cannot be contained. He cannot be contained. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Brandon, you already answered my question, so get out of here.
Okay, bye. See you guys.
See ya. So folks, it's just me. Hold on, I gotta zoom in on my face. It's just me now. There's no Brandon. He's gone. So it's just me. Here we go. Hey, how's it go? Hey, oh boy. Man, now that fucking dead weight is out of my fucking way, I can make this show about what I really wanted to make it about. Okay. Number one erotic story from my life, okay? I was but a wee lad of 21, and she, a wonderful, wizened woman of 34. And she...
You shouldn't start your erotic story with "I was a wee lad." That's usually a bad,
That's true.
bad story.
I said that, and then I made sure to make myself above the legal drinking age, just to really even
Yeah,
things
like,
out.
It's all about perspective. I felt young, but I was old.
I felt like a boy, but she would make me a man. Anyways,
It's good to be back.
I'm glad to have you. I've already asked that. Brandon, get out of
Since
here.
you last. Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyways, back to my story. She was a convicted violent criminal offender. She had murdered before, and she would murder again.
But first, she had to murder my heart.
And my genitals. Anyway, what have you been up? I mean, I keep asking the same fucking question I've already asked.
It's all good. Well, I keep coming back, and you're like Pavlovian. You have to the shit. You're like
My
shit
brain
is restarting
resets.
to you.
It's like, oh, okay.
Ian, how you been? Brandon,
Oh.
how you been?
Brandon, I'm good. How have you been?
Great.
Lotus Clock says, DrawBomb. Also, he says, ooh, scary intro music. Are you two drawing a spooky thing? Not unless you think hot dogs are spooky, or dogs, just regular dogs.
They
could
can
both be. Yeah, they could both be
Maybe
spooky.
if the room was dark and you were feeling them in like a bowl, you wouldn't know
Or-
what they are. What are these things? Are these entrails? Are these giant's toes? I don't know.
Oh, you don't know, but you're reaching into a bowl of them, and this is the journey you've decided to go on.
Right.
Dogs could be scary. I mean, I've ran into a scary dog or two, especially when the dog is like
Yeah.
in kill mode.
Yeah. I don't like to be mauled by a dog. Not high on my list.
No, I would like to put that very low on things to do in my life. Is be mauled
It's
by
low
dogs.
on your ranking.
Yeah, of things to do.
That would be a fun thing if you somehow. I know it'd be like crazy, but if you somehow ranked all the things that you like or that like could happen to you
To die?
in order of how you'd. No, just in general.
Oh, okay.
This is a big concept, so follow me.
Okay.
If you had to list everything that could happen to you, from your most favorite to your least favorite, I wonder where the middle ground things would be, where it starts to just slightly the scale sliding. What's your least favorite thing that you would want to happen to you? You know, leading up to the next thing that would start to be a bad thing.
So like
It'd
something
probably
where
be
it's
very
like
vanilla, way in the middle.
something where it's like it's kind of okay, but like it's starting to veer into the territory of
Yeah,
just like
slightly below a paper cut, I think would be right where the scale starts to tip.
wait, you like paper cuts?
No. Oh yeah, I guess it'd be the other way around. Slightly
Yeah.
above a paper clip. A paper clip? Oh god.
Oh man,
I'm gonna leave.
Brandon. Yeah, do you want to come back and start that over? Okay. Anyways, I had
me how I've been.
but 20 minutes with her during my conjugal visit. So anyways, yeah, I would say right in the middle is opening a box of paper clips. That I feel pretty neutral about.
Don't feel much.
Not very positive, not very negative about them. And then also watching a movie that watching a movie that I feel nothing for is actually starting to veer into the negative territory, but not the so overwhelmingly negative that I will avoid it.
Gotta be some real boring, mundane shit in the middle before you even opening a box of paper clips is probably better than a lot of things. Because I open that thing, I'm interested to see how do they stack them in there. Are they like
Right.
organized? Are they just in a pile?
There is an
How many
element
can
of
they get in this little
discovery to
box?
it. There's a little bit of discovery.
Yeah, it's like
to
opening a gift. Unfortunately, it's paper clips, but you know.
Yeah. Oh wow, there's a bunch of red ones in here. Oh, I can color coordinate all these fucking papers. So I guess it would be buying a box of like paper clips in one of those see-through plastic containers. So like the mystery's gone. I've just bought them.
Yeah.
Purely out of necessity. That ranks right in the middle there, I would say.
Sure.
Watching
Maybe like returning a box of paper clips to the store.
That's a
Would be
negative.
Like a nice, boring one right there. Yeah, that would be terrible because it's an inconvenience.
I've had to make an
It
extra
feels
trip.
stupid because you're like, I'm really gonna make this trip for like to get like 30 cents back.
Right? Do I
Is this
really
worth my
need the
time?
30 cents? Is that what I need?
It makes you take a look at your own mortality. Like, is this how I'm spending my time?
Am I never gonna need paper clips ever again? Really? Like I have to return these to Staples?
When's the last time I've used a paper clip? I mean,
So
I guess it
ironic.
depends on your line of work.
So ironic to be
rare.
returning paper clips to Staples. You know?
Yeah. It's almost like a slap in the face to them. They're like,
Yeah.
these things, no! We've built our entire business on,
More
staples are the
permanent.
future. Paper clips. Yeah, you need to
These
have
paper
some
clips are-
opinions in your life.
Yeah, these paper clips, they're too easy to go back on. If you put a staple on that paper, it's like you're swearing a blood oath right there, because before you can take those papers apart, you gotta ruin them a little bit.
We want ink and staples. No pencils, no erasers, no paper clips.
That's right. Be a little bit decisive in your life. Use Staples. Hi, we're Staples.
Please buy our products, even
Yeah,
though offices are dying.
That's right.
Real quick in the chat, Xenute says Bromb. Welcome, Xenutes. Lotus Clock says, "Oh, Ian and Xenutes are both here. That's a gravity of Newtons." I didn't know.
That's the
collection of
collective
Newtons
noun.
was called a gravity.
Yeah.
I guess so. A gravity.
It makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah. You do alter the gravity.
Yes.
Also, Leviathan Dens here says, "Hey guys," and he subscribed.
That's right.
39 months.
Thank you for your
insanity.
money, you fucking chump.
We appreciate you
Yeah. Now go.
and your bad financial decisions. We appreciate them.
We'll never understand why you give us money, but you do. It'll never make sense to us. Brandon!
Thank you. Yes, Ian!
What sort of media have you engaged with in these past 7 days? These past... hold on, carry the 8. I'll carry the 2, actually.
Gotta carry that too. But where are you taking it?
It's 168 hours.
Wow. And how many minutes?
Well, we start the show at like 8 o'clock.
Oh.
We attempt to.
Damn
pretty
it,
much
you're right.
exactly.
Yeah. We've gotten a little better at that.
Oh, I nailed the math. It is 168 hours. Fuck yeah.
Wow.
I did it.
Great job mathing that math.
So bad at head math. I usually have to write that stuff down. But look at that. I carried the 2 in my brain. Look at that, folks. I did learn. I used to have an app on my phone. I complained about it back when I was using it. Where it taught me better ways to head math, and I have just forgotten all of them.
Oh, so it didn't do that good of a job.
Well, I just didn't do that good of a job of keeping... I'm sure if I had kept up with it the entire year I had that subscription, I'd be a smarter man.
Unfortunately, you kind of messed up the payments because you're bad at math, and it just was like hard to get that, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a joke here I'm trying to do, but it's not worth.
You don't want to do it. You don't want to workshop it a little bit, just a little bit. You don't want to workshop it.
All right, hell, we can get it there.
Okay, so
the ish,
the math
it's a thing
is
you
the
pay
button
for that helps you be better at math, but the math is the reason you're not able to successfully pay for it.
So it's like maybe I buy too many hot dogs, and that fucked up the math. It's like, oh, I didn't know that 2 hot dogs times 2 a day would be, carry the 2. 104 hot dogs a day for $2 a day. That's 208 hot dogs.
For $2 a day, you can feed Ian as many hot dogs as he wants.
Hi there, give me hot dogs, please. Now here's a train with our number. You ever see that one of the guy who's like he's like got all of like the kids, and I think it's in Africa, and he's like saying like, here, sponsor these kids, and then he's like, here, call us at this number, and then a fucking train passes by him for like 10 seconds, and that's where the number is like put on top of like the passing train.
That was an old one, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that airing when we were like kids?
Yes, it was. I'm pretty sure.
I can picture the guy.
Yeah, he's like white and he had a beard.
Yeah.
He's wearing a blue shirt, I'm pretty sure.
Totally. Yep, he had that blue shirt on. Some say he's still wearing it.
Some say he's still wearing that blue shirt to this day. I remember thinking that was a mistake at first, but then after like the second time I watched the commercial, I was like, oh no, they use that take on purpose. That's
well,
just,
the number's not moving at the speed of the train, right? It's just hovering over top of the train.
It's just like the train is like a little like essentially a negative space to put the number, but like, you know, he timed that shot perfectly. He was like, call us at this number.
As like the kids are like flinching, like, fuck, do we have to really be this close to the train?
Get back on the camera or you're not getting sponsored.
Look sad.
Yeah. Wow, we took that to a dark turn. That man was just trying to exploit those children, or probably trying to help. I have no idea. I feel like there's like
probably a little both, right?
Little both, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Anyways, Brandon, you never answered my question.
Oh yeah.
When was your last sexual encounter with a convicted violent felon? No, wait, no. What media did you engage with in the past?
You'll have to buy my next book to find out.
Ooh.
This dog, your dog has slices in it.
Yeah, you ever do that?
It's a special dog. I have done that.
Do you know why they do that? I just did it because I was like, maybe it cooks the insides more.
Maybe it's like a controlled. Right? Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I think it's a bad thing to do. There's a lot of stuff with like that kind of thing where people are like, they think it makes sense, but it's making their food worse. I would imagine it lets the juices out. I don't think you should do it. Maybe it's supposed to be like a controlled like pressure release because sometimes your dog will like burst.
True, when it bursts.
Bursts.
Yeah. Bursts.
And now you're taking control of that thing and your life. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I used to, so I did it. I used to cook hot dogs in the oven and then just like eat a bunch of hot dogs if I like really was feeling like shit and wanted to feel worse. And I would make the slices in the hot dog because I'm a little bit of a foodie when I'm preparing my own food. And the one time I sliced the hot dogs in a way, like I sliced them down the middle long ways, and I did the little slices short ways.
The little checkerboard action.
And what it ended up happening is when they came out of the oven, they just looked like weird rolled up centipedes. And tell you what, I have never seen a more unappetizing hot dog than when it looks like you cooked a centipede.
So here's something I have to say to you. I think we've discussed this on the show before.
I don't know.
Maybe that's a sign that we've been doing the show too much. We're discussing hot dog preparation. Anytime we draw a hot dog, you guys are gonna hear about the centipede story, I guess.
Boy.
But
You're at the #1 hot dog prep podcast. We're talking about all the ways you could slice a hot dog.
Left, right, up, down, the other.
Up, down, left, right, B,
No,
A.
don't do the whole thing. You're gonna shoot a fireball.
Oh, I just got 30 hot dogs.
That's enough slices.
I love that meme. That's one of Anthony Fantano's contributed a lot of I think positive culture to the internet, and I think that's one of the best ones.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Anyways, I keep dancing around your fucking question because I'm just.
Oh yeah. No, it's all good. We get
So how do you prefer your hot dogs cut?
Oh yeah, I don't. Is the answer. I don't cut them. I prefer my dogs uncut.
Ooh. This is a circumcision joke in there somewhere. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I think that was
Brandon,
kind of it, but I don't.
We've never talked about this, but are you circumcised? You know what?
Right now?
No, but give me a week.
Yeah, I'm just in this. With the way the medical system is in this country. Gosh, yeah. I just can't get an appointment.
Yeah.
Stuff I've watched this week. I watched a lot of things and played a handful of things.
Ooh.
So where do we start? First off, I mentioned briefly to you we've been watching Fallout. We haven't finished it yet, but it's good. I think I mentioned it like last week or something too that we started it. But it's good. They got the vibes right. It feels very much like Fallout. Like
I'm so happy to hear that.
I've seen a lot of adaptations, and they usually they just miss the mark completely.
Yeah.
Or it's like a shot for shot thing that's already like a story you've already seen, or they try to like grunge it up so it feels more real or something, which is not necessary. This just feels. It feels like the game so much that I'm watching it and I'm like, I want to go play that. I'm gonna go play that now. Like it's on the. They nailed it pretty well, I think, with the aesthetics.
I'm very happy.
The vibes, the music, everything. It feels like Fallout.
I think
Might as well just be a game.
I think it's crazy that they should. Why don't they just make a fucking game of this TV? Jesus.
That's hard. That's more expensive and takes longer.
True, it does. I think it's very cool, first of all, that not only is the Fallout TV show good, because it's like one of the games, like when people talk about great games in just the world of games, like it's one of the ones that people are going to list as like some of the greatest games to exist. So it's nice to see like, Halo got shit on, and Halo's kind of a classic, but like at least the Fallout TV show is hitting the mark, and that makes me very happy to hear. Especially because like Fallout is one of those games. Like Halo is kind of like if you were to watch, like if you say the TV show for Halo is good, and then you see like what the game is about, and it's just shooting space aliens, and like that's fine, that's fun, but like at least if like a normie were to see the Fallout TV show and be like, huh, what's the game like? And then they see that it's like an open world with like choices that you make and like all these different storylines and cool like it's not. It's a more cerebral sort of game sometimes than At least the first two. I don't know how if that necessarily fully applies to the third and fourth ones. Like it still does in a sense, but you know they are a little different. But as an ambassador to like video games as a genre, to a normie, Fallout looks from the outset at least a little bit more like there's depth to it, and it's not just like, oh, I thought all video games were just shooting monsters in the face. You know, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's a little more like I don't know. They do the RPG thing pretty well. I think a lot of the Bethesda games feel kind of tabletop-y, like which you kind of want out of an RPG. But RPGs have slowly like I think melded into like Assassin Creed clones.
True, yeah, very much so.
But I think originally that's kind of what you would hope for with the RPG is something more like, and that in even their games are a little bit somewhat on the more lighter side, but for more forgiving handholdy side to some RPGs. But still, it's just like it captures the feeling I get from playing some kind of like D&D or tabletop thing,
right?
Pretty well. And so yeah, so I've never actually played the first ones.
I've played the first one to some degree.
I've played 3, 4, New Vegas, and a tiny sprinkle of 76, but I've never played 1, 2, whatever else there is. Tactics. I don't know.
Yeah,
I ain't played them, but
you ain't touched them.
I would like to.
I think they're they put them on GOG for like free, like Twitch on Amazon. Like I check Twitch once a week. You probably do, yeah. At least once a week, Twitch is like, hey, do you want to own like 6 games? Some that you've heard of, some that look like a mobile game for the PC, and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
I'll take them.
Yeah, if you're giving them out for free, fuck it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's cool,
so
and
this dog's back legs look fucked up.
Oh my god, looks like you drew like a fucking cooked chicken and put a dog body on it.
Thing. I'm gonna have to look at some pictures of dog legs.
Yeah, we haven't drawn enough.
It's my
we
Google
haven't drawn
search.
Enough dogs. Dog legs. Someone put on the hold on, wait. Hey folks, Brandon's looking up dog legs.
Gosh. At least as artists, I feel like we're throwing off whatever data of ours is being sold because we're muddying the waters with all the weird ass reference searches we do.
This is true.
Like hand holding cigarette box, but from the other side. Dog legs. Bicycle. I guess that's not a weird search, but the reason I'm searching.
Your FBI agent is like so confused right now. They're just like, fuck. What?
I got a crazy one.
Dog leg. Oh my god. I wish I had a normal guy like Jerry across the desk from me.
He has all the fun search.
Jerry, what's your guy searching now? Porn. See? Damn it.
Why can't I have a normal one?
Damn it. So yeah, so the Fallout TV show is good. It's interesting to see like how recently any good adaptations of TV show. It's like, sure, we've had some stinkers again, like Halo. Another one happened. The Resident Evil Netflix TV show that looked fucking awful.
Oh yeah, we never ended up watching that. I was curious.
We should. I'm curious too. We should watch it at some point. We do just the bad movie night.
The fact that I heard nothing tells me a little bit.
I heard about it when it first dropped, and everything everyone said about it, I was just like, wow, this sounds like... First of all, it sounds like Resident Evil in name only, and second of all, stupid.
Yeah.
But the Bad Movie Night crew just hasn't had a chance to really link up in a while. And it's unfortunate.
It's been hard to be on the same schedule since COVID. Those are the glory days when we were all home.
And it's weird to...
That was the only good time in my life, wasn't it? Just kidding.
I miss like wondering if I was next, you know, but also the free time, you know.
The one time in my life I need to be on anxiety meds. It was good.
It was great. I got to play Valheim 24 hours a day. It was sick, dude.
Can I go back? Take me back.
Take me back, please. Anyways,
fucking dog legs.
Dude, you're struggling. So yeah, but like, you know, we've had some stinkers recently of video game adaptations, but then like, go figure, we actually get one or two like decent video game adaptations in Fallout, in The Last of Us.
It always happens in trends.
It
because
does, yeah.
studios are like, no way, and then they see somebody nail it and make a bunch of money, and they're like,
oh,
what licenses can we buy? Get somebody on the phone. We need to buy up some licenses before the other studios get them. It was like, I remember a time where I was like, like superhero movies are terrible. All of them are terrible anytime they try. And then they got good-ish. And now I'm like, superhero movies are terrible anytime they try. But yeah, that's a different point. But regardless, you saw how that trend went. And I think video games are the new one.
Yep.
You know,
it's just
Last
funny.
of Us nailed it. Some others nailed it. And now you're probably gonna see a bunch of these.
Yeah. It's really funny just to see. It's funny and a little disheartening just to see the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the shameless trend chasing. Like a movie studio will be like, someone will be like, hey, can we have just like a slice of life story about a baker and like him trying to make his pies? And movie studios would be like, no. And then one studio would be like, yeah, fuck it, throw it in the pile. And then that will like be good, and then it'll blow up. People will be like, wow, this story about the baker who makes pies is the best thing I've seen all year. And then all the other studios are just like, oh fuck, we need more stories about bakers now, pump them out. And then like they pump out like a bunch of shit.
The lesson would be make more slice of life stories, but no, they're like, make baker stories. They don't get it. They're like, being they're the people who make millions of dollars off this, you'd think they'd understand, but they just don't get it.
The lesson isn't even like make more slice of life stories. The lesson, also slice of life baker. I just realized there's a pun in there. But no, the lesson is take risks on like good shows. You know,
totally.
Like, you like when you like instead of chasing trends, like make the trends. Like fucking weird thought, but like. Yeah. You're the studio. You make the culture by like what you greenlight and what you put out there. You have the power to be make the next big thing and be on that wave, but it's always like one studio is just like, fuck it, maybe we'll make a show about a bunch of kids in the 80s who ride their bikes and find weird experiment girl. And then they do, and then every studio is just like, oh shit, we need 80s nostalgia coming out our asses right now. And it's like, no, it's just a good show. Like, just make more good shows that are different. Because every show that chases that trend is always just pales in comparison, and all the studios are then like, what the hell? I guess people don't want 80s nostalgia anymore. Shit, we've got 500 in the pipeline. Oh well, I guess we'll have to put those out for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
that is also why people don't want them then.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. That's kind of the only reason that you can't. Because in a way, you're like, okay, so like, yes, when somebody takes a risk and it does work, everybody else takes notice and tries to copy that. So you'd think you'd eventually get to a place where they're making good stuff finally again because they've seen the trend. But the problem is that they copy the trends to the note.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, a successful movie about a baker. Okay, makes 10 baker movies.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I know it's just a weird example, but that's how they do it. Instead of looking at more why the movie is successful.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's written well, and like the creators actually put care and thought into making like a good storyline. No, that can't be it. It's got to be about bakers.
And then they even if they take a concept that I do generally like and would like to see more movies about, they'll make me hate it.
Exactly.
When they're done. Like multiverse shit. Not that was necessarily one that I felt big about, but in the beginning I was kind of like, oh, these are fun stories.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Another multiverse. Anytime they say it now, I'm like, how could you be so shameless? Like, don't you know? Like, that's every other show right now.
Yeah. Or like, if a show mentions the word universe, I'm just like, ah, fuck. They're leading into, they're teeing up a multiverse right now. I can feel it.
Yeah. Let's get out. Abort. Yeah. I don't know. So right now video game stuff is in. I'm sure you're gonna see a lot more of it.
Yeah,
Mario did good.
Mario
Last of Us did good.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna see
probably doing
Sonic is doing good. Fallout did good. You're just
Sonic
gonna see a bunch
did
of that
good,
shit, which
and Sonic wasn't like I watched like the first time we watched Sonic, I was kind of like, this is fine. And then I watched Sonic again with the parents, and I was kind of like, oh, this is actually really ass.
yeah, but I mean, a kids movie is gonna be not to like call kids dumb, but it's gonna be easier one to pull off.
Dude, those fucking idiot children. Sorry, go ahead.
Mario doesn't really have a lot of substance.
No.
You know, there's kids will like watch just like people playing with a Mario action figure on YouTube for like hours. So
That's
like
true. That's not even like an exaggeration.
That goal. Just make Mario do Mario things. You got a winner in the bag. But as far as like adult video game stuff, you're gonna see a lot more of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed. Which is partially exciting, but also it's gonna get annoying at some point.
Depending on how successful Fallout as a series is, do you think it's going to spawn more video game adaptations, or do you think it's going to spawn more post-apocalypse adaptations, or do you think it's going to spawn more TV shows that are chasing like a 50s future retro, like retro future aesthetic?
I'll say definitely yes to the first two.
Okay.
Both. I don't know about the third, maybe, but it will definitely spawn more adult video game shows, and it will definitely push a little bit more apocalypse stuff out. But that's already been, because they've been addicted to that for a long time.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's like mountains of post-apocalypse material to already watch, so I feel like that's already a genre that's...
What set that off? Trying to think like what kind of kicked that off. I mean, I guess like there's stuff like Mad Max way back in the day, but that wasn't what kicked it off as of late.
No, I want to say Cormac McCarthy's The Road kind of brought back that a little bit, because they made that book came out and it was kind of like a well-known book, and they made a movie based on it. But Zombieland, like zombie movies, I think it's like a spin-off of the zombie genre, because also, if you remember, in the beginning of the 2010s, like finally The Walking Dead gets a TV show, and I was kind of like, oh cool, yeah. I haven't seen zombies done in a while, I would like to see more zombie stuff. Walking Dead happens. I'm like, oh cool, Walking Dead kind of does the zombie thing well. This is exciting. And then, not even 2 years later, I was like, I'm fucking sick of zombies. And
yeah,
I think that like there was a number of studios who were just like, there's already 100 zombie movie TV shows. What can we do that's kind of like zombies, but not exactly? Oh, how about a post-apocalypse? And then that's how you started to get a bunch of those. Mad Max Fury Road being so well received, I'm sure didn't hurt.
Yeah, but we'd already been at it for a while at that point.
Yeah, we had. You're absolutely right about that. Bella Rocket says, Mario was great. I went expecting ass, and I had a great time. What are your... I think we did talk about 100%, we talked about Mario when we watched it, but now that you've had some post-Mario clarity, how do you feel about that movie now?
Kind of like I did when I saw it. It was
another Illumination movie, right?
It was fine. I don't really have anything to shit on it about. I wish there was a little more substance to it, because it kind of. But also, the thing is, if they give me more substance, they're just gonna end up making something I hate, where it's like,
right,
Mario's childhood and like his like I don't give a fuck about Mario's backstory, but that's Mario. Like the only how are they gonna
so
flesh
dark
it out
and brooding more? Oh, it's my family. Bowser killed my family.
I want the revenge. Let's go.
Uncle Giuseppe, I watch a Bowser crush him beneath his feet.
So I say I want more substance, but at the same time, I don't know how that's accomplished. I probably would get what I asked for, and then I'd be like, never mind, go back to him just like doing Mario shit, jumping on some stuff's head.
Mario's definitely
like just make a movie about him platforming, and then that's the whole movie. Yeah,
Mario's definitely an IP where like you have to keep it substanceless almost, because it's like it just doesn't work conceptually. I think, and maybe that's just because of like years of Mario being done in that fashion, where it's like so happy-go-lucky, so innocent, sort of in its portrayal, that like the moment you try and like you can't make a dark and gritty Mario, like you just can't. And like if you do, it's got to be
that either.
yeah, no one wants that. I mean, you've done that as a Halloween costume because it's funny, but like as like a like it's like when but
they did it in the 90s.
That's the dark and gritty
dark
Mario.
And gritty Mario. It's about as dark and gritty as you can go, but like
what, Captain Lou Albino?
No, the movie, the live action movie.
Oh, true. I guess that is dark and gritty Mario, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
And it did not work.
No, super weird. They were doing this thing like they hadn't nailed down the movie formula for making a video game yet, and they were trying to do this thing that a lot of movies do, where they're like, "All right, so Mario's too cartoonish. So how do we base it in real life? Well, we have to change some things to make it fit in the world." But then you just get this weird mess that feels like some kind of like you cut things out of a magazine and glued them all to a board. It's just like nothing goes together. It's all weird. Some things are like super creative and strange, and then other things are like you're trying to ground them in reality somehow. It's just a weird thing to try to attempt.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do like the Christopher Nolan treatment. Like Batman as a concept had room to be dark and gritty, I think, which Christopher Nolan did. Even though every like Batman adaptation up until that point had been pretty lighthearted and funny and goofy. And then Christopher Nolan came by and was like, what if Batman, but sad.
Yeah.
Can't do that with Mario.
So I guess Mario, it was. Oh, sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off.
Oh, I have nothing to say.
It's fine. It was fine. It was better than I was expecting, but I also kind of saw it and was like, this is not a movie for me. It was kind of my takeaway.
Right. Yeah,
it wasn't made for me. It was made, I think. Yeah.
It was definitely made for babies. I had enough fun watching it the first time around, but you'll have to like give me a bunch of acid to convince me to watch Mario again, I think, because I just wouldn't have a good time the second time around.
It was fine. They did a good job at what they were trying to do.
They could have.
They achieved their goal.
They could have had a train wreck of a movie, but they didn't, and they did a fine movie. The worst part about the Mario movie was Fred Armisen's voice as Donkey Cranky Kong, which, I mean, if that's the worst thing I have to say about it, like
that's like a great review, honestly. The visuals were great. The music was awesome. I love the music. That's maybe my favorite part. Yeah, it was good. It was fine. My nephews absolutely loved it, and that was the goal.
They're the perfect age for it. So.
No, my nephews are 50 and
yeah, my nephews are older than I am. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just gonna read some chat. Mario was great. Oh yeah, blah blah blah. I think it towed the line all right. God damn it, because she smelled tone. Sonic got kind of edgy backstory, and I thought that took away from it. Yeah, but there is a little bit of precedent for Sonic being a little edgy. What with like Sonic X, the anime series back in the day. Not that I agree that like Sonic should get edgy, because I don't think he should. I think it's goofy as fuck when Sonic gets edgy. Which is why I think like all of the Sonic that's happened since like the year 2000 has been super goofy as fuck. Yeah. Also, Bowser was cast way better than Eggman. I do agree. I also think that Mario was cast, as weird as it is to say about Chris Pratt, Mario was cast better than Sonic. Like, I love Benny Schwa. I think Ben Schwartz is great. I didn't like him as Sonic. I don't know why.
I mean, doesn't mean because you're allowed to think that. I'm allowed to think what I think, but I thought it was good. I just
actually,
don't know
you're wrong.
How else he'd be? Well, I heard myself like starting to like, I don't know, not get defensive, but try to like I need to explain why I felt differently. But no, I don't know. I can't picture his voice. I don't know how they would do it better.
You're too slow. No.
The best, I will argue that the best rendition of Sonic was Ugly Sonic by Tim Robinson in the Chip and Dale movie.
That was pretty great. Not the movie. Like, I thought the movie itself was but Tim Robinson as Ugly Sonic was funny. In fact, just the inclusion of an ugly Sonic in that movie was like by far the best part of that movie as a whole. No, I think so. Here's the thing. I'm actually going to re-evaluate my statement. I think Ben Schwartz as Sonic was fine. I just think the way that they wrote Sonic was dumb.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I think his voice was fine. I mean, he was just doing it was just Ben Schwartz doing his normal voice, which is fine because Ben Schwartz already kind of sounds like a cartoon character a little bit.
Yeah.
But him, just the way they wrote Sonic, I was kind of like over it pretty fast.
I've never been invested in. I've been invested in absolutely zero of the Sonic lore.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he should act, how he should sound. I've seen or heard like that stuff once or twice, but I literally I played a little bit of the old ones on like Sega. I never played like any of the newer games really. I never watched the cartoons. I never read any comics or anything. So I'm just like the worst person to have an opinion.
Here's the thing. I think Sonic works the best when he doesn't have lore. You know? Like,
yeah.
That's when it becomes... Because he's a fucking blue hedgehog. Like, what? Am I supposed to get invested in, like, just have him run around... Don't even have him talk. World. Have him say, like, have him say some fucking sarcastic, witty catchphrases, some one-liners. But have him just going around being super fast as shit. Maybe he eats a chili dog or two. And have him, like, fucking jump on a bunch of robots so that they shoot forest animals out of him, you know? Like, the moment you make it, like, oh, my mom is dead, which is what they did in the movie.
Yeah.
Then I'm kind of like, I check out. And then, like, I mean, I used to read... So, like, you know, Archie Comics used to make a Sonic comic series back when I was in, like, middle school and elementary school and probably into high school, but I stopped reading them by then. And, like, I read them because I was like, this thing I recognize, but I also, as I read them, recognized how fucking cheesy they were because they were all very hyper serious. And I'm pretty sure I've ranted and raved about the like, story arc on this show in the past. We're just replaying the hits. Where Sonic was accused of killing, like, Sally Acorn. Have I ever told you about that?
I think you have.
I'm fairly certain I've talked about it 3 times on this show, like in previous episodes.
You know, when we're getting into the fine details of Sonic lore, I probably check out just a little, right?
I don't blame you.
It's hard for me to... These names mean nothing, so it's hard to remember.
Okay, so Sally Acorn... She's the princess of the forest, okay? And
they live in the forest.
They live in a forest. Sally Acorn's the princess of the forest. She wears a vest and boots for no fucking reason. They also have a bunny rabbit who calls everyone Sugar. She speaks in a southern accent, and she's got robot arms and legs, I'm pretty sure. That are just robot arms. And then there's Knuckles the Echidna, obviously. And then they got Antoine, who's like a fucking chipmunk or something, or like a groundhog, and he's got like a full military regalia on, and he's Sally's bodyguard or prince, or I don't fucking know. He doesn't like Sonic because Antoine wants to marry Sally Acorn, but Sonic, hooking up. He's the one who's like, yeah, he's hooking up with Sally. He's the bad boy who saves anybody. Antoine's just a fucking pissy little, like, man, my dad is a king or something. And then they got Darcy the Dragon, who is a dragon named Darcy. And that's the character lineup. And then there's an episode or an issue of the comics all of a sudden where Sally is injured. Oh my god. And they have footage of their high tech. Also, there's like a lot of future technology these fucking animals in the forest have. I don't know. But they have camera feed footage of Sonic dropping Sally off of a tower. Oh my god.
He murdered her.
He murdered her.
A tower in the forest? Like a tree?
It's part of like
those trees in the forest.
No, but this is a tower that because there's also a castle in this forest. I don't know, man. But anyways,
sure. It's my job to to make your job difficult as you
Please
explain stupid things.
Please make this story interesting at all, because I'm just ranting about the stupidest inane bullshit right now. So anyways,
Sally Acorn.
Sally Acorn's dead. Or actually, she's not. She's actually in a coma. And Sonic's on the run. Knuckles the Echidna, he's normally pretty mad at Sonic because they just don't get along because they're two bad boys bad boying up. They
butt heads.
They butt heads, but he's so gonna kill Sonic because he murdered Sally Acorn, or combed her, and so Knuckles is just fucking. He is on his tail. Sonic is like running, and there's like I remember
he's on his tails.
He's on his tails. Oh yeah, there is tails by the way. And he's got like he had at one point it's raining and Sonic is running through the forest in the rain getting all muddy, and he's got like this leaf thing tied to his back so that he's got these big heavy palm fronds like covering up his footprints as he runs. Oh my god. Wow. And then Knuckles,
the fugitive.
That's right. And then that's basically the fugitive, and Knuckles and Sonic are squaring off. Knuckles is about to kill Sonic, man. Sonic's like, I swear I didn't do it. Knuckles is like, I'm gonna kill you because you killed Sonic. And then it's like, find out what happens in the next issue. I'm pretty sure it was like
a drawing of.
Go ahead.
I want the drawing of Sonic like in the sewer tunnel, and he's like, yes. I didn't kill Sally Acorn, and Knuckles is like, I don't care.
And Antoine's like part of the posse, but it's definitely Knuckles, like with the gun. But as Tommy Lee Jones, but anyways,
mashup nobody asked for,
but we're gonna make it.
No one would understand except for like 3 people. Yeah, like
anyone who read the Sonic Archie comics and has like a memory of these things that came out over 20 years ago, they're gonna be fucking hooping and hollering. So anyways, it's like find out what happens in the next issue, and it's like I think it's like a 5-part arc or something like that, or like a 3-parter. It's like a multi-issue arc. They're really squeezing the fucking subscriptions out of people. They got like, oh, what's gonna happen to Sonic and Sally? And then I don't remember what happened in between, but I remember the final issue. Oh shit, Sonic and Knuckles, they're finally squaring off. Sonic's surrounded. Antoine's over there. Sally's over. The bunny is over there. And Knuckles is. Oh my god! Sonic's about to get caught and brought to justice. They're gonna murder the shit out of Sonic, man. He murdered Sally. And then all of a sudden, Darcy the Dragon swoops down from the sky, and she says, "I don't think Sonic killed Sally, and dragons can't lie, so you know that it's true." And then Antoine's like, "You're right. Dragons can't lie."
She said, "I think."
And Knuckles is like, "Yeah, dragons can't lie. Sonic didn't do it." And that's how they solve
science. We all know.
And that's how they solve it.
Did they solve who did it? Or did he just get away with it?
I think it was like Dr. Robotnik making a hologram or some shit. I don't remember. I was so mad.
I like how she's like, "I don't think he did it, and I can't lie." It's like, well, Darcy, you just gave us an opinion, so your lies have nothing to do with this.
I don't know if she phrased
this is bullshit.
I don't know if she phrased it, but I got the sense that she didn't. She was just like saying, "I don't think he did it, man." And then they're just like, "Well, the dragon said it. We can't kill Sonic now." And I was like, "What?"
And you were on the edge of your seat.
Mm-hmm. I was like, I was edging, bro. Yeah, and I remember like being 12 and like thinking, this is so fucking stupid. And to make a 12-year-old say that, that's pretty dumb. that's you got to really you got to really fail to make a 12-year-old be like, "No."
That's right.
This story about these forest animals just went a bridge too far for me.
Belba Rocket says, I'm just gonna do some quick checkup.
Speed run that chat.
Some big catch up. I would like a Luigi movie with more Charlie Day. I agree, honestly. Like that was one thing I felt like the movie had a criminal like lacking of was more Luigi, just because I don't know, Charlie Day doing a good job. Not just because I like him, but he's got the right voice for a Luigi.
Yeah, he did. The standouts, I think, of the Mario movie were definitely Luigi with Charlie Day, Bowser with Jack Black, and Jordan Key. Wait, no, Michael Keegan Michael Key as Toad. I think were like They all crushed it, I thought.
He went full Toad.
He did go
He
full
he had to be spraying blood out of his throat a few of those like takes because he went full Toad the whole time.
I mean, I've watched all of Key and Peele, so when they cast him, I was like, no, I can 100% see him nailing that Toad voice because he's done like that kind of voice. He's like, oh, I'm Mario.
Yeah,
I could see.
That's true.
I could totally see him doing it. I didn't have to stretch the truth.
There.
Charlie Day, I wasn't sure about, but I was like, I can see it. I feel like this is a good pick, but I have to know for certain. And then Jack Black as Bowser was he just crushed it. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, he just nailed it.
It'd be hard to pick a better voice that isn't just like Bowser's like roaring voice.
Yeah.
Let's see. They wrote Sonic super bratty. The biggest constant about Sonic is he isn't needy. He just wants to do everything his way. Movie Sonic is all wrong. Okay. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I guess if you're trying to write a kids movie, well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. That's fair.
You have no
you're a
opinions
Sonic
on
fan,
Sonic.
so why am I? Yeah, I don't. Why am I even trying to say anything? Let's see.
Bro, they got Sonic so wrong, dude.
Knothole is like hidden village in a forest in the Acorn Kingdom that is an outpost for the. We got the Bell Rocket wrote the wiki for Sonic. For the freedom fighters fighting against Eggman because he's doing his old trick where he turns animals into robots. Pretty evil.
An evil guy.
And then when you find one that he's converted, you stomp on their head.
That is the thing.
Smash the coins out, or the rings.
No, you don't get rings
Bell
out of the
Rock
robots. You get rings out of TVs.
Oh, you lose rings if you touch a robot.
Yeah, but not on their head. If you touch them, if your foot touches their head, man, you just freed an animal.
They just have big spikes on them or drills or something. I don't know what those are supposed to be. A lot of the enemies, just spikes.
Yeah, it's true actually.
Bubba Rocket says, "I'm your dream audience. You are welcome." I think referring to our the Fugitive comic that there's no audience for.
Yeah.
So sorry, I've just been geeking out this entire time. No, I'm happy there's someone who's receptive to the stuff we're saying in the chat. That's great.
It was, of all the 5 times I've ranted and raved about this story, which I guarantee if somebody were to like go back and like listen to every episode of this show, first of all, why would you? Second of all, they would be like, "Oh my god, he's fucking talking about the Sonic comic again. What damaged him about this?"
You're an aficionado of random assortment of things. Like you rolled a big dice and it just gave you random things.
Yeah,
and
that's how it
is. I have to say I somehow skipped over Lotus Clock, and now looking back, we've done it like twice already. He's asked this question 3 times. It says, so in that universe, aren't dogs also bombs with a fuse like the people? No. If you were
they're
real
dogs,
DrawBomb fan, you'd know that humans exist in this world occasionally too. For some reason,
there are no rules. We don't know.
The bomb people are a species in their own.
Yeah.
But not everything alive is bomb.
Yeah, the bombs actually live 10 times as long as humans, and they have dark vision.
We do have to log this all the way for when the movie gets made. We need to have this lore locked down.
We got to come up with the pitch Bible. Bomby, what's wrong? My parents are dead. They killed
Maybe the
them.
bombs are like an alien race that landed on Earth.
Oh my god, are we skibbidying toileting this?
I don't know. That's how Sonic is too, isn't it? Like
no, I think they're just fucking. I think they're just fucking. I mean, in the movie, I think but in the comics and every lore but the 2 movies.
In the Ninja Turtles, Michael Bay one, they're aliens, I think.
I think so, yeah. What are they in the fucking Crayola-looking one?
Crayola one.
The most recent movie that you watch it on a plane, I think.
Oh, they went with like the original where they're mutants. They're just like turtles that had ooze on them. They got some nondescript toxic waste dumped on them and turned them into giant mutants.
Weren't the Transformers also aliens?
Yes.
I mean, I guess they were in the original.
Aliens.
They were in the original too.
Definitely aliens.
Yeah, but so Michael Bay made so I guess what happened was Michael Bay made the Transformers movie. And I
But
thought
with
one
turtles.
was more than enough of those, but he made like 7 of them. And then they're like, hey, there's another property that involves aliens coming to Earth. Or no, hey, do you want to do Ninja Turtles? And he was just like, yeah, but if I can make them aliens. I don't know where I'm going with this. He really rode that.
The Ninja Turtles fight a lot of aliens, but they were not aliens.
This is did they fight
They
aliens?
fight a lot of these there's these Triceratops aliens that they fight all the time.
That's right. I guess what are
in the comics it gets pretty weird.
What are Bebop and Rocksteady? Are they aliens?
They
or
are other
also
mutants.
Oh my god. Okay.
They were mutants. I believe they were created by either, I forget in the comics, but it's either Krang or Shredder,
They look like-
using similar ooze to what created the turtles.
They look like bad guys from Captain Planet.
Fair enough, except all the bad guys from Captain Planet were like, I'm Litter Man.
Yeah.
I want plastic to be ground up and thrown into the ocean. Why?
Because Captain Planet. That's a movie that needs a gritty reboot.
Yeah.
What were we about to say?
Except I think I was just gonna say I watched a lot of Captain Planet as a kid, like unironically.
I watched a good amount.
What I remember of it, not a ton.
Yeah, me neither.
But I watched it. I remember one guy, they all have like avatar powers, like all the kids have like all the elements. But then there's one kid that just gets heart.
Yeah.
Which I guess means he's just like rallies the team.
He loves too much.
Yeah.
What was the kid's name too? It wasn't it like
I think it was like wasn't it like an Indian kid?
He was Indian, and it was like
they gave him a pet monkey.
They did, yeah. I saw one episode, like I saw a clip on YouTube where like apparently a backstory was that he was in like remedial classes or something like that. Like they kind of made him like, and I don't think they used this in an official episode, but I saw a clip of like a deleted scene where they're like, he's like mentally deficient, and I'm kind of like, that's a little fucked up. I mean,
I didn't know that.
That was also when they were doing that thing where like if you have
where do you get that monkey, bro?
Dude. It's like where they had like a class, like, or if they had like a group of characters, they had to like sort of do that like college pamphlet thing where like there's like equal representation of each person on them. It's like, oh man, which people seemed a lot less pissed about that back then than they do now, which is weird to think about.
They brought in, in Magic School Bus every so often, Carlos's little brother, who was in a wheelchair, would come in.
That's right.
And it's pretty fucked up that Miss Frizzle had the power to turn people into like straight up like lizards and fish and shit, but she didn't. She didn't just heal his spine.
Well, class, come on into my school bus. What's the kid? Carlos, not your cousin. Oh, but Miss Frizzle, we're going to space. You can't come to space with us. Miss Frizzle, why? We don't have a ramp for the school bus.
No, they brought him along for a lot of things.
Oh, okay.
He was kind of like Scrappy Doo, like he was brought in like for random episodes.
And he kept trying to fight everybody.
Yeah. So this kid is like in a different school or at home, knowing full well that his brother is going on fantastical like things, and he can't go all the time. He just gets to go once in a while.
Dude, if I was in another school and I found out one of my friends was like in Miss Frizzle's class, I'd be so fucking jealous. I'd be like, what did you do today? He'd be like, dude, we fucking went to space. And I'd be like, fuck, that's so god cool. How many? Oh, I'm so jealous.
We just learned our times tables. It's fucking sucked.
My teacher flunked me because I forgot to put my fucking name on my test.
And then I had to wait to go to the bathroom for like a half hour.
And I had to sign out because some kid pissed on all the toilet paper rolls. Oh, God, I hate my school.
That sounds a little too specific.
Yeah, that happened, apparently. Apparently, like, we didn't used to have to, like, sign out to go to the bathroom, and then apparently one kid, like, someone found, like, a roll of toilet paper. Like, a kid apparently just, like, took the roll off and, like, put it on the floor or something and just just pissed on it. I don't know why you would do that.
Ian, were you the rogue pisser?
I wasn't.
They can't catch you now. You're too far away. You're an adult. You can finally get this off your chest.
It's the only way I can go, man. It's the only way. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
I'm glad it wasn't you.
I had this drop the whole time.
That
I
would
didn't
totally
use
turned
it.
you in.
I had this drop the whole time and I didn't use it. But man, you know where Sonic is from?
Where? Is that what his home planet's called?
Yeah, the planet of.
We are from Sega.
And yet, the thing is, it's one of those languages where you have to. It's like a language where the tone and like the pitch of your voice, it's a sing-song sort of language, so you have to say it like that.
It seems like a cool but exhausting place to live.
Hi, I'm Sonic from Planet Sega.
Probably loses all like musical value if it's just how people talk.
It's true. That's true. That's also true. So you watched Fallout.
Oh yeah. They got the vibes right. I'm not done with it. I think I have 2 episodes left. I won't spoil anything, but it's good. It makes me want to play the games.
All right.
They did a good job. Everything looks and feels right as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure maybe there's people who are more like obsessed with everything, all the details that maybe are. I've heard some people like complaining about certain like fine details, like, oh, they said this happened in this year, but everybody knows that this place was a desert that the NCR was ruling during the, and it's like,
I hate that shit. Like,
shut up. Do you just want to suck all the joy out of everything? Like,
so yeah, sorry,
real things to be annoyed about.
Sorry, I didn't read every page of the fucking wiki.
Right.
And I've also heard some people.
You know,
sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I've heard some people complaining that like, apparently towards the end of the, I don't know if I want to say this because I don't know how much of a spoiler it would be for you. So I guess but like,
just do it in vague terms where I won't know.
I really can't describe it vaguely.
Then
like
don't,
I don't know what happens, but it involves places that you are aware of, and so I think if you were a non-Fallout watcher or player, you'd be like, I don't know what that is. But since you know of Fallout pretty well, I feel like just saying anything might, because I also haven't watched the series, so I don't know.
Wait till next week. I'll finish it by then.
Okay. My mom, mom texted me out of the blue the one day. She's just like, I watched a trailer for Fallout. It sounds like a fun thing our family would watch. And I was like, really? Are you sure? So
it's cartoonish, but it's also gory, a lot like the game. I don't know if that would bother your family or not.
So like my mom loved the Deadpool movie, and that had people getting splattered against like fucking signs. So like on it, but she like the only part of the Deadpool movie my mom didn't like was the scene where Ryan Reynolds gets tortured into becoming Deadpool. Like she just didn't like the torture sequence. Which to be fair, I hate torture sequences in TV shows too. That was like the hardest shit to watch in Game of Thrones for me. Was like.
And they played that pretty seriously in the movie.
The torture scenes in Deadpool were not played for kicks. They were Ryan Reynolds just getting tortured for a solid 5 minutes, and my mom didn't like that. But she like dudes getting domed by bullets, and like that one guy who got like I remember there's that scene in the opening credits where like a mercenary gets like thrown into a like highway sign so fast he like splatters against it, and I remember hearing my mom chuckle at like the splatter. So
that's fun.
How on board with Fallout? Just knowing that.
Well, since you have played the games, I can use this term, but let's just say everybody in the game has bloody mess turned on. They have that perk. So people are like, heads are like breaking apart like a watermelon, like blown into chunks often.
But like you know, you've seen Deadpool. Like if you compare it to Deadpool,
I would say it kind of feels like that kind of like. Granted, maybe that's actually how these things would look if somebody were shot with some of these things or smacked into a sign. But regardless, it feels kind of like cartoony.
Okay, so like
Fallout's kind of that way.
So she wouldn't be like super duper grossed out. She would just be like,
nah, I think she'd be fine with it.
Okay.
And a lot of the stuff is like fantastical enough, the weapons and the enemies and the things like that, that I think you also kind of get.
Yeah.
You don't feel you don't feel like you're in those shoes. It feels like you're watching a cartoon that's like live action kind of.
Okay. We'll try an episode, and if it traumatizes my mom, she'll just have to live.
Yeah. She'll know by the first episode whether she likes it, like, is it cool with that stuff or not.
Okay.
But I don't know. It seems pretty fun. I'll let you know my full opinion when I finish it.
Please do.
We're close.
We need that drop. Man. We need that drop.
I know. Another thing I watched, a friend of the show, Plead the Filth, mentioned a movie called Horse Girl to us.
That's right. You watched it?
I watched it. I liked it. It's very like, it's almost like not worth bringing up because it's one of those movies that you shouldn't know anything about it. But
like
it's also very, yeah, exactly. It's very kind of open to interpretation too, and some people might find that annoying. I don't know. I don't think I was that annoyed by it because of the way it was done, but it kind of felt like, even like, when I watch something like that, I immediately go read what like the people who made it have to say, what other people who watch it say, just because I'm kind of curious. And judging by like the people who made it, I think it was kind of like one of those like Donnie Darko things where they're like, it could be a couple things. It's kind of up to you. But
I don't mind that.
It's fun because I don't hate it either. It's at least like interesting. It rides the line of like two very different scenarios. One is very grounded and one is not, and you're kind of, as a viewer, you're like, okay, well, it's definitely got to be the more grounded one. And then they give you like, they plant like a seed here or there that it's like, no, maybe it's this fantastical thing, and then it ends just kind of up in the air, and you're like, oh shit, okay, I guess I never get an answer.
So, Life of Pi, yeah.
I never saw the movie. I don't remember either the movie or the book well enough to know how that goes in the end.
I guess maybe Life of, because like basically in the book, I haven't seen the movie because I couldn't care, but in the book Life of Pi, he goes on this fucking boat ride with this tiger essentially, which is a very very dumbed down way of describing it, but goes on it's a little boat ride with a tiger.
Calvin and Hobbes comic.
Yeah, it's Calvin and Hobbes it, except the tiger never actually does talk, so it's just he just goes on this weird fantastical adventure.
Neither does Hobbes. That's just Calvin's perception.
Maybe we don't know. They also Calvin and Hobbes it, but in Life of Pi, he like goes on this fantastical adventure with this tiger, which it's not like the most fantastical thing, but it is like pretty hard to believe, which is why it like sort of rides that line. And then like there's a detective who's like asking him about this shit, and the detective's like, you want me to believe you had this fucking crazy boat ride with this tiger? And then the kid's like in the interview is like, what, you want me to just tell you that like we were on an escape boat with me, my mother, a cook, and some other guy, and the cook was the tiger, and the cook murdered my mom and killed this guy over here, and I had to ride on a boat with the cook until I got a chance to kill him, and then we arrived on this island alone because the fucking cook was a murderer, and I had to like survive on a boat with him until I could kill him. Is that what you want me to say? And the detective's like, I mean, yeah, if you could tell me, like, is that what happened? And the kid's like, fucking figure it out for yourself. It's about religion, bro. It's all a metaphor for religion and religious belief. And so it's like they kind of place the seed in your head of like, is this what actually happened? But the kid never actually says it's what happened. But it's like Occam's razor. It's like or Occam's teapot. I forget which one it is. It's the most plausible solution if you don't think that the tiger shit actually happened. So they kind of put that seed in your head of like, but then again, it is also like supposed to be a metaphor of like belief and faith and religion and all that stuff, and so it's like it's all very like
interesting.
Yeah,
I wish the movie. Did they do a good job?
I didn't watch it. I didn't see the movie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. No, I read the book in school, and I wish I actually feel like I should read the book again because I remember the book not being terrible, but also like I probably would get more out of the metaphors and what they're trying to say in the book now that I'm an adult and like I can interpret things, like because back when in school, my interpretive media literacy maybe wasn't so developed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, probably. That's probably true for every book I read in high school.
Same. Yeah, no, like I feel like
at that time I'm like, how can I how can I make it seem convincing that for my book like report that I actually read this?
Yeah.
I was kind of blowing off the whole thing.
I always felt like first of all, I felt like the lesson in school I got about what a metaphor is and what an analogy is was not helpful, because the teacher would be like, here, read this story. Oh, the blue flowers represent life. And I was just like, how the fuck does that make sense? Like, it felt like a very contrived example of a metaphor, the example that they gave us in school. And
I hated that.
And maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was actually like a solid metaphor, and I just, as a kid, just could not grasp the concept. But it's like, so like whenever a book would have, like, we would do book reports or something like that, or like we'd watch a movie and we'd have to like do a report on like, oh, what's the movie saying or something like that. And I remember like I would write it, be like, so they go to the place, and then this guy says no, and then he die. And then they go, and then they end up in a field, and they're happy. That's the book. And then, like, another student who was much, much smarter than me would go up and be like, so the warehouse is about looking into the beyond and seeing our mortality in front of us. And when they end up in the field, really, they're all dead, and they're just in the after. And I'd be like, did we see the same fucking movie? Like, you're lying. But now
I can't speak for you. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Well, I was just gonna say, but now I feel like maybe if I had gone through those experiences and like experienced those things, I might actually pick up on those metaphors. I hope. I pray.
Right. I can't speak for your education, but I have to say, I think I was put off. I guarantee you, like you said, that yes, a lot of the times the metaphors were legit, but I think I was put off by the whole like middle school and high school like English class, like teacher explained the metaphors, because half the time I swear half the time the stuff they were saying was complete bullshit. And I'm like, okay, there doesn't, like, I understand that a lot of writing has metaphors baked in, almost all good writing does, but like some of the things that they're like, no, you see, this was the calendar on the wall was blue because blue is like life. It reminds him of the coldness he felt.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're lying to me. You're trying to.
Yeah.
I feel like you're trying to seem smart. So I don't know. I feel like maybe I started to assume they were always saying bullshit because some of the times they were. I don't know. But it's all subjective, right? Unless the author straight up comes out and says it, then it's up to you to interpret it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do remember
they're not wrong.
I don't think we're the only people to feel that way either, because I remember seeing memes or something like that where the meme is like, teacher, the blue vase represents thing, author, it's just a blue vase. And that's like the meme.
Exactly.
Like that.
There was definitely some of the times that happened. Yeah. And I would just like be rolling my eyes.
You know what's the first movie I ever watched where I watched it and I recognized like the subtext and realized like what the underlying message of the movie was?
What's that?
Fucking Kill Bill Volume 2. I watched it and I was like, oh, dude, it's about how mothers make sacrifices and give up a good life for themselves to give their children a hope at redemption. And then like that cracked like the code for me, where I was just like, oh, fuck. Movies have subtext, and it's like fucking it's a fucking Quentin Tarantino movie. Like, are you like, I feel like his movies are the least subtext heavy movies of all of them. I don't know.
What did all those feet represent? I never know.
Dude, so when she's trying to wiggle her big toe, it's actually oh man, when that guy's a fucking pussy magnet.
It makes it a lot more fun to watch when you're privy to such things. But
it is, yeah.
I think ultimately it's a hard thing to teach. Maybe to like maybe that's the whole point in teachers just going overboard on these things, is to like try to train you to like look for those, because I guess none of them are right or wrong if you see something in art. Yeah. But maybe they're just training us to like keep an eye out for them rather than.
I think so, but
no. If I was like, teacher, I thought that the ducks in the pond represented the years in his life and his mortality, and they're like, no, that's fucking wrong. No,
you're fucking
like
idiot.
That,
I'm telling you right
God
now.
damn, no, those were ducks. Get out of my classroom. Don't ever talk to me about ducks again.
yeah, I do think maybe there's just a better way to teach the lesson. I also can't fault my like poorly paid teacher for maybe not like
Right.
nailing the lesson, because it's like it is a hard lesson to teach like media.
And I wasn't
like
trying to pay attention.
yeah. I remember there was one time
I was a tough audience.
my English teacher was like trying to do a lesson where like we would take song lyrics and we'd listen to the song and then we'd try to analyze like what the song lyrics were like actually saying. I thought that was a fun lesson, but I was the only one in my whole class that gave a shit. So like even though the teacher was like, "We'll do this lesson again next time," I was like, "Hey, what happened to that idea?" And she was like, "Oh, no one gave a shit." So I stopped, and I'm like, "Man, I feel like that would have been a very vital lesson for me to learn that." But
Yeah. Yeah, how do you put a bunch of different people in a room and try to teach them everything? It's kind of a hard road to travel.
Yeah, especially if there's like 30 kids in that class. Like you're just not gonna have a chance.
Not given a lot of resources, and you're just supposed to make them all engage somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds impossible. I don't know how you do it.
I don't. Yeah. But I also, I mean, that teacher also at the same time got me, I think, on the right track with Romeo and Juliet, because the way she explained Romeo and Juliet made the story make so much more sense for me. Because, whenever, like, up until like the point we had covered Romeo and Juliet, I'd always heard like everyone be like, "Oh, Romeo and Juliet, it's the perfect love story," and then this teacher was like, we read Romeo and Juliet, and she's just like, "Don't you find it weird that these kids knew each other for like 2 days and then they killed themselves? It's not a love story. It's a story about two impulsive teenagers who are idiots." And I was like, "Oh shit, you're fucking right." And so like that was a lesson that I felt was very important to learn. Was like, a lesson or a story can be framed as one thing, but if you actually like think about it for 2 seconds, it is another thing.
You're also allowed to have your own like perspective of something,
Yeah. So
like, somebody could look at that and be like, "Wow, how romantic," but also they might be mentally ill, But that's
right.
Everybody can perceive it their own way.
Everyone's allowed to take a story. Death of the author. Jesus, death of the author is a real thing. As soon as the piece of art is out there in the world, how somebody interprets it is no longer in the author's hands. Everyone's gonna take something.
It's pretty
different.
funny to bring it all back around. When I was reading about Horse Girl, there's one popular theory about what the very last shot is, and a lot of people were like saying that there was like an AMA on Reddit, and the author and the co-author were there, and all these people kept saying what the same theory, and they're just like, "Nope, wasn't that." And everybody's like, people kind of saw the comedy. They weren't trying to be funny, but like the people asking the question kind of laughed it off because they're like, well, for me it was, so.
Yeah.
Which is valid. Like, you don't get to be like, "Nope, sorry, you're wrong." It's like, it's whatever, it's a piece of art. You can interpret it however you want. Yeah,
because even if the author intended one thing, like every person who creates art, like there's a lot of conscious choices that go into it, and then there are so many unconscious choices that go into it. Like, I don't know how Quentin Tarantino might be a bad example, because he definitely fucking loved feet, and he would put feet in his movie very often. But it's like there are authors who are like, maybe like who aren't named Quentin Tarantino, who might be obsessed with feet, but then they put like feet scenes in their movie, and they might not realize. Like, if you might talk to that author and be like, "So what's the deal with all the feet scenes in your movies?" And they'd be like, "I had feet scenes in my movies?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, every movie you have at least a 5-minute sequence talking about somebody's feet." And that author might be like, "Oh my fucking god, you're right." Like that happens.
Yeah,
which is just interesting. So like, even if an author intended one message, like there's still totally like other things, like factors playing into like what is actually happening in the thing that could completely like be present in the like thematic nature of the thing, and the author just doesn't know it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow, so that's all interesting.
Yeah. This is like the smartest conversation we've ever had in this fucking show.
So what's your opinions on Beetlejuice, though?
Oh, dude, I fucking can't wait for it to not exist No.
Moving on. Beetlejuice 2, not talking about that, but a different trailer. Deadpool 3 dropped today.
Oh,
the
yeah.
trailer.
Still haven't watched
You just
it.
mentioned it a minute ago.
That's
So
ironic.
I find myself, I'm pretty burned out on superhero movies.
Same.
It's hard to give a shit. Deadpool, I like it because it's a little different, but I'm also started to like, I'm kind of like, okay, you did it.
Right.
I'm starting to kind of like lose steam on that too. I'm
Deadpool?
interested to see this one. Yeah. I'm still interested to see this one, and I think it could be good. I'm kind of like, all right, it's Deadpool is very kind of based around like the fourth wall breaking joke, and so that kind of feels like, to me, I know they have different stories, but kind of Austin Powers 3-ish, where it's like, okay, we're doing the same joke,
right,
over and over and over. I'm still interested to see the new one. I'm still excited about it in some ways, but I'm also kind of like, okay, I get it now.
I feel like the appeal of Deadpool is less like people. First of all, back in like the early days of the internet, like you couldn't go to a fucking place where people were on the internet and like chatting without running into somebody who had like a Deadpool forum avatar or Deadpool signature. You know, like Deadpool was really fucking popular on the internet for a while. And like I get it, because he was kind of a new thing. Like that was before everything got meta, and breaking the fourth wall was like a common thing. But like everything breaks the fourth wall nowadays. Everything is meta. Like we're in a post. What's the word I'm looking for? Like we're in a post something sort of like genre of art at this moment, or you know, like those like. So it's like the appeal of Deadpool has been so diluted by everything being meta and breaking the fourth wall, and everyone also being aware of like tropes and like cliche, like, because I also think like back when Deadpool was around, and like, you know, if you were watching a movie in the 80s, there were so many less people, I think, who would be like, aside from like movie critics, who would be like, oh, are they doing the classic thing again? You know, you'd just be like, ooh, movie. But I feel like because of the because of the internet, and because like popular culture can be so hyper scrutinized by a million different people, and it doesn't even necessarily need to be a critic. Everyone's aware, and more so aware of like cliches and tropes that are in a lot of movies, and also just like the prevalence of media in our society. Like back then, you could touch grass more often than now, and I think that like the appeal of Deadpool, because of all that, just gets so diluted that it's almost like I don't see a point in Deadpool anymore as a character to exist, because we've reached critical mass of meta commentary and meta fourth wall breaking sort of things.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, speaking of like how we were saying like, oh, one movie does something new and then everybody has to do it, I think Deadpool kind of was the big one to kick off the meta fourth wall breaking. Some things were doing it, like you'd see it in like Community, or like like
I think Community was another one too,
thing, but
honestly.
Community, but it didn't have as big of a audience as Deadpool. But then like Rick and Morty got popular. I think the first season of Rick and Morty came out, was that before Deadpool?
Yeah. When did Deadpool came out? Like at least a year before I was 25, and I was 25 7 years ago, which is scary to think about. But so here's I think Community did do it, because like Community started out with a small fan base, but Community kind of blew up a little bit. Like it was a big deal for a while. Like my parents even like knew about Community, and like I didn't have to like rant and rave to them about it. Like I remember the one day I came home from college and I was visiting the parents for the weekend, and Mom's like, have you seen the paintball episode of Community? And I'm like, actually no, I haven't. And she's like, oh, it's so funny. Mom. Yeah, my mom beat me to it. So like I would consider my parents to be normies. My poor parents, they're normies, and they gave birth to like me, who's like fucking tired of Beetlejuice, and my mom wanted to see Wonka this weekend, and I was just like, you have to pay me to watch the Wonka movie with Timothy Chalamet. I do not want to watch a Wonka movie. And my mom's just like, ooh, Wonka with music, and because she's a normie, and that's fine. I just feel bad for my parents that they had to give birth to like me, who's fucking snooty and is like, I will never watch that Wonka movie because I just can't deal with these remakes anymore.
Your mother birthed you, and you won't even watch fucking Timothy Chalamet tap dance on a fucking lifesaver or whatever the hell he does all movie long.
We watched 80 for Brady. Okay, I still sacrificed.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh man,
I don't even know what that is.
So okay, it's fine. So here's what it is. I should talk about 80 for Brady for just a little bit. It came out last year. It's almost relevant, but so you know the show Grace and Frankie, right?
Yes.
Have you watched it, or do you just know of its existence? No. Okay, that's fine.
I'm familiar with it, and I can picture the actresses' faces.
Okay,
that's all I got for that.
So, Grace and Frankie, Lily Tomlin, and Jane Fonda are older women. Yes. Their husbands leave them for each other. And then, like a couple years ago, and then, so 80 for Brady is Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin starring again in a movie together. So it's kind of like almost a Grace and Frankie reunion, like 2 years later.
They're back.
But not quite, because they are playing different characters. Like, they're playing different characters, but they're also playing largely the same characters. But, you know, Jane Fonda's character is less of a, like, in the show, Jane Fonda is like a snooty. In Grace and Frankie, Jane Fonda, aka Grace, is like a very snooty, like, well-to-do, upper crust, sort of like, ha ha ha, my children are going to be rich and I'm rich, I own a beauty company, and my husband has left me? Well, I can't show myself being sad. That just wouldn't be you know what I mean. And then Lily Tomlin is a fucking hippie, so you know their personalities do clash.
Like an odd couple.
It's very much an odd couple situation. And in this 80 for Brady show, their characters are not so intense in those personalities, and if anything, they kind of swap places just a little bit. But anyways, 80 for Brady is basically like a reunion movie for them, but also there's like Rita Moreno's in it, and I don't know who the fourth lady is. But they're all 80, and they all want to see the Pats play in the Super Bowl because they love Tom Brady, and it is also a movie produced by Tom Brady's production company, so it's kind of got that Poochie situation where Homer's like, and if Poochie's off screen, then somebody should be saying, "Hey, where's Tom Brady?" You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? That like sort of.
I do know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. So it is a little weird. It's cute. It's charming. Guy Fieri is in it as a character for like a couple of scenes, and it's kind of funny because they always pronounce his name Guy Fieri, like no one except at one point. He plays himself. Lily Tomlin does call him Guy Ferrari at one point, which is funny because up until that point, they're all. It feels like an advertisement for multiple things at the same time. One of those movies. Yeah. So it's like a cute little storyline about a bunch of 80-year-old ladies, and like one has survived chemo, and she might have cancer again, so that's why they're going on this big trip to the Super Bowl. But it also at the same time feels like a advertisement for Tom Brady, for the NFL, and for Guy Fieri. But they do at least make a few, like Guy Fieri at one point meets up with one of the characters, and he's like, "Oh, hey," like she meets him at a porta potty, and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were somebody else," which the implication is that he was gonna have somebody perform sexual favors on him at the porta potty. So even though it feels like an advertisement for Guy Fieri just a little bit, and they always make sure to pronounce it Guy Fieri, except for when they call him Guy Ferrari at that one point, they do at least make a joke about him being like a sex pervert, which is. I'll take it.
Why do you think who do you think he's meeting at all those diners, drive-ins, and dives?
Hey, Flavortown ain't just a place. It's also a body part. But anyways, it does feel like an advertisement for Guy Fieri for the NFL, because they also go to the NFL Sports Zone, and they say the NFL Sports Zone, and they say the NFL a couple of times. but it's a cute movie. Like in the end, even though it feels like a giant advertisement, it's a cute movie about a bunch of 80-year-old ladies living it up for a weekend. So I can only be so annoyed by it, but it does feel like an advertisement at times. But it's cute. And then there's a point where like they meet Tom Brady at the end, and he sits down and like he's kind of giving it his acting all because he just won the Super Bowl. And they're like, "Wow, how are you feeling, Tom Brady?" Lily Tomlin like meets up with him, and she's like, "Hi, Tom Brady. It's so great to see you." And he's like, "You know, when you gave me that speech," and he's like kind of putting on like the super. He's like trying to like squeeze a tear out sort of situation almost. It's like
right.
He really wanted to act it up in this part. And then he kisses his son on the
Tom
mouth.
Brady. I was just going to say, I was waiting to make that joke, patiently waiting in the wings, and you took it from me.
So sorry.
I sat here silently,
So
I didn't interrupt. And you just stole it right from me.
I had to watch that whole movie with my parents without making that joke. So I've been sitting on this long here. I earned it, okay? Wow. Anyways.
Good on you to like know your audience. I feel like I would have still made the joke, and my parents would have been like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I've been like, "Never mind."
Never mind. Kyle just keeps showing us this awful video, and but no.
I can't hear the name Tom Brady without trying to make a joke about it now.
Me too. Me too. Anyways, it's cute. It's fine. It is kind of a giant commercial but like I also don't understand how it's a commercial for Tom Brady because like he quit football again like 2 days before the movie apparently came out. So I don't know.
I mean, he has a production company apparently, right? So his name is a selling point. He does a lot of commercials and shit.
They also have Jane Fonda's character writes fan fiction about Ron Gronkowski, and at one point she does find a book of one of her books in Gronkowski's locker, and he's just like, "Oh, I love this book." So it's you know, it is what it is. Zenith says
it's a commercial for the NFL. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a commercial for Guy Fieri, for Tom Brady, and the NFL, and a little bit of Ron Gronkowski.
Is it actually pronounced Fieri, or is that just the joke?
I don't know. That's how everyone in the movie pronounces it, except for when Lily Tomlin pronounces it Guy Ferrari in that one scene. And I thought it was weird because I figured one character would say Guy Fieri, but no, it's Guy Fieri every time. Guy Fieri. So I don't know. But
Flavor Town.
Hey, welcome to Flavor Town. It's a giant commercial, but it's a cute movie about old ladies at the same time. So yeah, I don't know. I'm only so mad about it. At least it's not the fucking Hot Cheetos movie, which was a fucking commercial for Cheetos, and also
I'm surprised you watched it.
My mom wanted to see it, man. All these shitty movies, a lot of times it's like my mom literally subscribed to an extra month of Hulu so we could watch the fucking Flamin' Hot, which she called Spicy Hot because she doesn't know the name of movies or TV shows. She's like, "I want to see Spicy Hot," and I'm like, first of all, it's called Flaming Hot.
Commercial.
Second of all, it's a commercial. And then we watch it, and I'm like, "There's no way any of this is true." And then I Google it, and of course, it's all bullshit. It's just a fake commercial with like. It's just terrible. And my mom was just like, "That was cute. I can't believe that Spicy Hot Cheetos
were... It happened that way."
Yeah, and I'm like, "Mom, they're called Flaming Hot Cheetos. Can't even get the name." Anyways, I'm shitting on my mom too much.
You need to stop dragging your mom through the mud. I won't stand for it. She's delightful. Not that you said otherwise, but you were just saying that she doesn't care about Beetlejuice 2, and I won't let that go down in the record.
Wait, I don't care about Beetlejuice 2.
No, I know. I don't know. I tried to make a joke. Failed.
I know you were.
I do have to say...
Joke. I stepped all over your joke.
Oh, it's
I'm
all
sorry.
good. I do have to say, originally I was talking about Deadpool because...
Right. Yes, I'm sorry.
I saw the trailer, and show's runs on tangents. It's the fuel. So I'm not going to... Anytime a tangent starts, I'm like, good. We have something to talk about for another 20 minutes. But the reason I brought it up is because, yes, I'm kind of like burned out on the whole thing, but despite all that, seeing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again got me excited because he just nails it always. I think
he is the best Wolverine. Like
yeah, he's almost got it too good where it's going to be hard to ever, when they undoubtedly continue making X-Men movies like 100 years from now. If we still exist as a society, they're gonna have to recast him. It's gonna be hard to do because he's just like so.
They're just gonna AI
Wolverine.
him in.
He's almost like the character is almost like when you think of Wolverine, you kind of think of him. Like he's kind of given to the character as much as the drawing version of him has. But regardless, seeing him back, that's exciting. But even more exciting is they got him in the fucking yellow and blue outfit. That looks so cool.
Well, okay,
I was a big like X-Men fan as a kid. I mean, I still am, but like more so then. And like seeing him in that like bright, like almost like neon outfit it's got me excited. It's got like nostalgia. It's working on me.
I think there's a very conspiratorial part of me that thinks that this coming out with him in that outfit and then like X-Men 97 like coming out and like I think like that's definitely like an intentional tie-in. Like they're working all these strings to tie these all in together, you know, into another stage of the Marvel Cinematic Universe thingy, because like he's wearing that classic outfit and I think it looks cool. Like the way they made it look. I've seen the pictures. I haven't seen the trailer, but I saw the picture of him in the outfit and I was like, he's kind of killing it. Like it looks pretty good.
It's great.
But then him wearing that outfit, coming out with this movie, having him wear that, and then also at the same time X-Men 97 where he's also wearing that outfit and it's like that throwback TV show. I do sense a little bit of larger plans at play here.
You might be right, but it might not be that. You might be right, but also the reason I think maybe that's just the style choice of these movies is I mean, Deadpool in the movies has always been like bright red. Like they went fully like the comic. Like the X-Men characters that show up, like they're all like vibrant. They all look like they stepped out of the comic book more so than the other movies do.
Yeah.
Like in all the whole Deadpool thing, everybody's like wearing like bright primary colors and shit.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just kind of continuing that. But and even his hair in the trailer is like pointy, like he's got the full Wolverine look. He looks the most like Wolverine he ever has, and it got
absolutely he does. Yeah,
excited. Which we bitch all the time about. Oh, they're making this, making that again. It's all member berries, and then here's an example of it working on me. So I should let the record show.
So like I mean, yeah, I think it's just a matter of like at least they nailed it. Like the costume looks so much like it, and it doesn't look dumb. Like that's the other thing is like. I could easily see a situation where Wolverine is wearing the outfit from like the classic X-Men cartoons that we remember with that outfit, and it just looks stupid in live action, like so many things do. But the fact that they managed to translate it into live action and take into account how to make it not look stupid, I mean, look, you should get points for that. I think. Yeah. Because so many superhero outfits would look stupid as fuck if they were from the cartoons. Into the movies. True. Hell, some of the superhero outfits look stupid as fuck in the comics, you know, and you know if you can translate the like I think the reason part of the MCU was so successful is because they were faithfully translated from the comics or like how you might picture them from the comics, but they didn't look stupid, you know. Like Iron Man looked sick. I mean, Iron Man was gonna look sick because Iron Man's just fucking cool looking, but like you know, Captain America could have looked stupid. Captain America, they ended up coming up with the translation that looked cool. The Incredible Hulk could have looked dumb with his purple fucking pants. They made the Hulk look cool. Thor could have looked goofy as fuck. Thor looked cool. They translated all the characters over in a way where it fit. It didn't feel like it was entirely different, but it also didn't feel like... It felt similar enough without feeling goofy as it should look if you had just done a 1-to-1 translation, I guess is what I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I mean, if the spectrum is like, you know, Wolverine in this Deadpool movie, like in the full like get up on one end, and like Wolverine in the like 2000s movie where the entire X-Men team just wears black leather.
Yeah.
The other end. The like Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of fits in the middle. It's like it's all familiar. You see it and you're like, I know who these characters are, but also it's like modernized a little.
Yeah.
For film, so it doesn't look like cartoons. It's hard to just like put somebody in a fully like primary color outfit with frills that doesn't look like Halloween or like
absolutely
like cheap and weird. I don't know.
And I agree. I mean, it's like when you consider how the costumes of like those WB like superhero TV shows, you know, look awful. Mm-hmm. Absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Even the movies, like just like DC in general is not doing the costumes as good as
they don't got it.
They don't have whatever pizzazz is happening with the Marvels, but like, so it's impressive. It's impressive that they managed to thread that line so well, and so consistently.
It's weird to me that the DC movies struggle so hard, because if you just follow the rules and go down the line, like Marvel, all their movies to me feel like, I don't think they're like terrible, but they're also just kind of like bland because they feel like they were kind of made by an algorithm, and they probably are. Like, well, mostly
it kind of circles back around to like the chasing trends. Like, the only reason they like went so full force into these movies is because the MCU movies were doing so well, and they're like, oh, we want some of that piece of that pie, we want that,
right?
So they're trying to do the cinematic universe with none of the care.
I'm surprised they weren't able to do it.
Yeah, I'm surprised too.
Seems like
they have
if you have the money, if you have the money, you should be able to make something like a Marvel movie. Like, maybe not visually, but at least story-wise, or like, you know.
I have a couple theories as to why that is. Number one is because they were so intent on chasing that Marvel bag that they just put no thought into it. Like, I'm
They're rushing it out the door.
They're rushing it out the door. Like, I'm sure. Like, what there was like. So first of all, I don't think they expected the Iron Man movie to be as like the first one, to be as successful as it was. I could be wrong. I just don't think anyone expected Iron Man to pop off. Like,
nobody did. I mean, that was the first one that started this.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the reason we are where we are now, is that movie.
That's why
you could argue that maybe like 2000 Spider-Man's got the ball rolling.
True.
It showed that there was interest in it, but Iron Man was the first one to like. There was a lot of other people that tried to follow Spider-Man that kind of failed. Like, you know, there's like
the Hulk
like
movies,
Daredevil, and like the Hulk movies both tries,
Daredevil's
and like Elektra, trash. And there was a bunch of kind of shitty movies that existed in that time trying to chase Spider-Man. Yeah. Then Iron Man nailed it, and then it created a like meta that everybody tried to copy.
Yeah, and like I think Iron Man made $1 billion. I think that was its box office draw or something like that. I remember seeing commercials for Tropic Thunder, where I remember specifically like for Tropic Thunder, they made a skit where it was Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., and third guy, Ben Stiller, and they were like making a promo as part of the skit for Tropic Thunder. And in the beginning of it, Jack Black's like making fun of Robert Downey Jr., and Robert Downey Jr. holds up a magazine showing like how much money Iron Man had just made, and like insults Jack Black. And it's like no one, clearly it was a surprise like how much money that movie made, and that definitely got the ball rolling. So I think because the Marvel Cinematic Universe was so like they weren't prepared to go as balls deep into the cinematic universe as they were, but they kind of already had that plan going, so they probably restructured a little bit, and they probably just did it with a lot more thought, whereas DC saw how much money the cinematic universe was making, said, we got to get on this fucking train, and just started shitting out movies. And then they hired Zack Snyder, who, look, Zack Snyder can make a pretty picture. He is shit at making a movie. Like, he sucks at writing.
I tend to agree.
I just don't like Zack Snyder. I'm a Zack Snyder hater. I think he sucks. Sure, maybe he's a nice guy. I don't know. But, I've never seen.
He's a bad person too. Let the record show.
He's a garbage human being. Spit in his mouth. No. In general, I just don't think Zack Snyder. I think he lucked out with the 300 and how much people like that movie, and I feel like a lot of that movie's success was almost memes as well. But after,
it's also a very like faithful, like remake of the comic.
True.
It's like borderline shot for shot. So like you don't, he's kind of doing like a screenplay of something, but like even the visuals are pretty like locked in already of a successful thing.
So he had
I'm trying to take that W away from him, I guess.
No, that's fair though. I mean, look, like if the W goes to Frank, oh my God, I'm forgetting his fucking name right now. Frank Miller. Thank you. If the W goes to Frank Miller, then it does, because obviously if you're translating the work, and like Sin City was also like a heavy interpretation of Frank Miller's work, and it worked really well. But also Robert Rodriguez has shown himself to be a capable director several times in the past.
Yeah, totally.
Like, did anyone actually like the Dawn of the Dead remake that Zack Snyder made with the fast zombies? Like, no one talks about them. I guess they kind of I will say they birthed the idea of the fast zombies, I think, but I think also 28 Days Later
did that. 28 Days Later had it.
Okay, so, what W's does Zack Snyder have? But
he keeps getting work. That's the W.
That's pretty much it, yeah. So I just don't think he's good at what he's essentially got as a career. And, like, for some reason, these studios are just like, instead of being like, okay, well, let's make him in charge of directing. Like, maybe he's a good director, but he shouldn't be in charge of the story or the writing. He should just be adapting people's work, you know? But instead, the DC Universe was like, no, let's let him write Superman. Let him write Batman. Let's let him write
Give him the keys.
Give him the keys to the kingdom. And it's like, no. What? Like, have you seen Sucker Punch? Like, no, why would you do this? So anyways,
when it comes to like maybe directing, I don't know, and then visuals, he can do it.
He knows how to
let him do that.
Make a pretty shot. Like he's kind of like Michael Bay, where Michael Bay can make a pretty looking picture that moves, and like he has some sense of visuals. And I don't even think Zack Snyder's as good as Michael Bay at the things he does. Like, he's kind of like a poor man's Michael Bay.
Michael Bay has wrote some good stories too.
That's true. Not anymore, but like he has.
He has. You seen Bad Boys?
Yeah,
that's a fun movie.
He can at least make
2 and 3.
Yeah, he at least made The Rock.
That's a fun movie. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he succeeds at his tasks most times. Michael Bay.
Michael Bay is also not trying to make art. Yeah, not lately. But Michael Bay also knows he's not making art. Like, he knows he's making like slop for the slop pile for people. Like, he's basically like a frat bro with a camera, going like, dude, wouldn't it be fucking sick if like this, that, and the other? And then like Zack Snyder's like, I'm actually making a very, very serious story about a dancing stripper in a perestroika mental hospital. And it's actually about mental illness, and also they all die, and it's art. And it's like, no, dude, there's a bunny robot shooting Nazi airplanes. Like, this is clearly just like a 12-year-old smashing action figures together. At least have the decency to like admit it and like face that. But he's like,
Michael Bay's like, I make movies that are gonna make the general audience say, hell yeah, and then I'm gonna go. It's gonna go overseas and make $1 billion. That's what I make.
Yeah,
and he does it well.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. And then Zack Snyder, and so like I don't know why you would put the keys to the kingdom in Zack Snyder's hand, because I just don't think he's ever shown himself to be capable. And then like, I remember there was that whole thing where people were like, oh, release the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie. And I'm like, first of all, it started because people thought that because Joss Whedon got control of the Justice League movie after Zack Snyder had to leave the movie because of a very unfortunate family situation. That just sucks. Like, I'm like, we've shit on Zack Snyder. That shit sucks. Absolutely tragic. So Joss Whedon gets the keys to the that movie. We keep saying keys to the kingdom, but I don't have a better metaphor. And then people were complaining about like, oh, Joss Whedon's woke. We want to see the Snyder cut. Zack Snyder's not woke. So that starts like the whole we want to see the Snyder cut thing. And the whole time I'm like, guys, it's not gonna be better. It's just gonna be 6 more hours of slow mo, and it's I don't know. I never watched the Snyder cut. I had no desire to waste more time
I
Justice
didn't
League.
either. I haven't really watched any of that shit. I mean, I've watched enough. I've watched the ones that were reviewed pretty well.
Okay.
And that gave me enough of it. And it's not necessarily Snyder, but like I watched like Wonder Woman, and I did not like it, and people loved it, and so that made me be like, okay, DC movies are just not for me. I saw part of the Justice League somewhere. I was on a cruise and it was playing, and I stared at the screen for about. We were in the hot tub that was nearby, and the screen was visible, and I watched it for like maybe 20 minutes, and that's all I needed. I needed less than that to know.
I watched a few minutes of Aquaman, and I was like, I recognize first of all who is the director, because it had those crazy camera movements from Malignant. You know, I was like, oh, this is what's his name, James Wan? Is that what his name was? Or
I think that's right.
So I was like, oh, this is one of his movies. So you'd think like it'd be at least like fun to watch the camera move around crazy ways while things are happening, but I was just tired after like 5 minutes of watching it, and I was like, I don't know how anyone would watch a whole movie of this, let alone multiple.
Gets exhausting.
Yeah.
It's interesting that I mean, I think he's capable, and I think it will probably be like you'll start to see them be successful in some way, but it's interesting how James Gunn made Suicide Squad, and it was like successful on some degree, and just because I think he's talented, I don't want to take that away from him, but just because they're like, we made one they like, they're like, you're in charge of all of our movies now. You're responsible, you're the brain behind every DC movie now.
Yeah, like literally,
which is a funny thing to me.
Literally, James Gunn directs the one DC movie that is successful aside from Wonder Woman, which I haven't seen Wonder Woman, I can't comment, but people did seem to like that to an extent.
People seem to like it.
But yeah, so James Gunn directs...
I didn't.
Yeah. James Gunn directs the one successful DC movie after Wonder Woman, and like DC literally, like there's like I'm imagining like a bunch of like a tabletop like diorama and like a bunch of figures on a table, and DC just goes, you're in charge of this now.
Yeah.
Just like such an act of desperation, because they're still trying to chase that, and like they're trying to chase the cinematic universe bag. Meanwhile, Marvel is trying to figure out how to revitalize the cinematic universe bag after they like set fire to everything at the end of Endgame. And also, like, I'm glad they did, because I was fucking tired of it by Endgame. When they did Endgame, I was like, good, no more, I'm done, this is it, I'm out.
Yeah,
this
I like
is
that
exhausting.
as end in the title.
Yeah, this is exhausting. So
DC's gonna get left holding the bag, because people are pretty burned out on superheroes across the board, and now they're like, finally, now it's time to make some superhero movies.
Are you guys
like,
ready?
Oh, what? Oh, we don't like those.
Are you guys ready for another Batman? Would you like the Flash again?
It's crazy how certain characters get so many remakes.
Oh my god.
Like there's like 10 Batman movies since we've been alive.
I know.
More?
Why?
More than that? More.
How many Spider-Mans have they done? And like, it's kind of it's weird, like, not only the amount of times they've rebooted Spider-Man in that short amount of time, but because Sony wants to just keep the Spider-Man IP away from Marvel, but also like, so Sony, there's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, which people like. They were good, but I think Sam Raimi had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
And then they have the Ultimate Spider-Mans with James Garfield, Garfield the cat, and no one seemed to like those, which is a shame, because I think the guy who they got to play Spider-Man is a good actor, and could do the role if given the right script. But the people scrap that, and then Marvel does Spider-Man, and like people like that. People really like that. And to be fair, like I think
those are the best.
Those are the best in my opinion. I can only comment. I saw Far From Home.
Enter the Spider-Verse is the best, but
yeah, 100%.
As far as live action one goes, the Tom Holland ones are the best.
I saw Far From Home, and I watched it, and I was like, I thoroughly enjoyed Far From Home as a Spider-Man, like little, and like what I liked actually about Far From Home is, sure, it tied into the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it was also just a self-contained story that was fun and cool. And I thought that was like the best aspect of that movie. And also, again, like as a Spider-Man portrayal, you know, they just nailed it. I thought they did a good job with that.
was probably just like luck of fate that Sony and Disney are sharing custody, because then you get this more contained story. You know they want to bring everyone in. They want to fucking have like Nick Fury show up and take a dump on a table, but like they can't because it's still Sony. So it's kind of like light. You can only get a little bit.
Wasn't Nick Fury in Far From Home? Doesn't he like? Okay,
that was a bad example. Yeah, he's in it often.
Oh man,
he was in it the whole movie.
He's like in the second scene. I'm pretty sure.
He's in every scene. In one of them, he's like there.
Yeah,
that's a bad example, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they want to do their like bring Paul Rudd in, bring all of them in, get Brie Larson in here.
Well, that's why it's also so fucking funny with these latest Sony movies. Like, you've heard about? We should watch Madam Web with the movie night crew if we get the chance.
Yeah, we should.
I hear that movie is hilarious.
We should watch Madam Web, and we should watch what's the vampire one?
Oh, Morbius. I've heard
Morbius.
I've heard Morbius is not fun to watch. It's just bad. I've heard Madam Web is so just inconceivably dumb that it is fun to watch. I've heard Morbius less, but I'm also down to watch both. You know the shit that I've put you guys through. So if Morbius is like worth it,
I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch something that's just gonna like just absorb some of my soul and give me nothing back in exchange.
Right.
Like some of those movies where you're just like, okay, I'm 90 minutes closer to death.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that's happened.
I wish I'd power washed during this movie. That would have been the ideal.
Exactly. Maybe that's the safe bet. It's like have something going, but you can
always is
not consider the whole thing a wash.
Yeah. I do actually miss power washing while watching movies. Brandon,
you got anything to plug?
Actually, I do.
Maybe we should stop doing this. Oh, you do? Hell yeah.
Not for me, but for somebody else. But a friend of DrawBomb, who we're working on a project with him right now. Friend of the show, though, named Ian Abramson, just released a comedy special. It's on Apple. It's on
everything.
I think
most of your like rental services.
You can rent it.
Prime. I think you can grab it on. I don't want to say something wrong. I know those for sure, but it's on most of the platforms.
If you Google his name, you will probably find where to buy it or rent it.
Yeah, but every platform that allows you to rent it, it's on there, I think.
Yeah, so Ian Abramson just released The Heist. It's his new comedy special. It's about 50 minutes long. I watched it. It made me laugh quite a bit. I'm not lying. I legitimately enjoyed it. It's very strange. It's very out there. Like it's
great. Yeah, he loves his conceptual weird shit. And you know, I've seen some of his older stuff and he does it there too. I like that about him.
Yeah, I like that he's not gonna just do like the usual like
a lot of high concept comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he doesn't I like that he breaks the format so often. Like if he's gonna do a thing, he's gonna do it in a different way, and I think that's what I really like about what he does. Is he's willing to go there and like not like in an edgy way, but he's willing to go there and like wouldn't it be crazy if we did this? And then he does it, and that's fucking awesome. So.
And one last thing I'll say about it, besides definitely go watch it, is I loved. Last time we spoke to him, or one of the last times we like actually had like a chance to like chat with him for a while. Yeah. He's explained to us how he unironically loves Ocean's 12 very much. And you could see that love come through, and you know how a lot of like comedy specials have like the like little intro where it's like them in like the green room doing something and blah blah blah. He does a little like love letter to Ocean's 12, I think.
Yeah,
or Ocean's 11 in general. In that, they're in like the whole special being called The Heist.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it was fun knowing that detail about him and then seeing that. It was very fun for me.
It was very cool to see like, oh, like since I know this person, I can completely see that why they would include this in the thing, and it's great to see. But yeah, it's really fun. It's very different. If you like comedy specials and you want to see one that's not like ones you've seen, I'm not just saying that. It truly is different and like fun and unique, and I really did enjoy it. Like I was planning on like having it on the second monitor and like working on shit like a lot of comedy specials, and then like I just ended up paying full attention to it. And
he makes a spectacle when he gets up there.
Yeah. I actually, there's that one thing he does where like they obviously had to like do the joke in like post, you know what I'm talking about, with the face.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
And I'm like, how do you do that for the audience? Like, obviously you can't do that for the audience, but like, what do you do? You just do like?
He made a face the best he could.
I guess so, and then they put it in.
No,
post,
maybe
but...
I think he actually was able to do that. Honestly.
Oh shit.
The more I think about it.
But no, I would go check it out. It's called The Heist. Ian
Definitely.
Abramson. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Go watch it. It's great. It's unique. It's different. Support a friend of ours.
Exactly. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, and if you need,
we like to support friends of the show. Yeah.
Patton Oswalt tweeted positively about it, which, I mean, if you don't trust us,
awesome.
Trust the good old General Patton. You know what I mean? So, that's my plug. Is Ian Abramson's comedy special. Please go watch it. Please support our
check out
friend.
his special. We're collabing with him soon, and look forward to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, do you have any additional plugs or?
No.
Okay.
No, that was a great one. Good thinking.
We don't often get to use this segment to actually plug things, but
I'm just excited that he'll finally receive that DrawBomb bump that we can send. You know, he's finally see some numbers thanks to
his numbers gonna go through the fucking roof. Wow. Oh, and
Zone Dog showing up right at the very end to subscribe for 34 months.
We don't know why people give us money, but sorry, what were you saying?
He said hot bomb is his comment. I'm assuming referring to the glizzy on screen.
Oh yes, that actually, yeah, hot bomb. Those dogs be gobbling that girthy glizzy.
This is some dog eat dog shit on the screen.
That's right. It's a dog eat dog world. It's a Bobby Boucher Waterboy. Ocean's 11. Ian Abramson, The Heist. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm just fucking saying word association now.
Sorry, I gotta wheel Ian out and get him his medication. Thank you everybody for watching. We kept him too long. This is what happens when we stay after 10.
Oh my god. The lucidity is escaping me. Somebody, please stop me.
If the show ever goes to 11, Ian's gonna be like, I don't know, painting his face and running around the room.
I turned to a vampire, and I vampired all over everybody. Okay, bye everybody.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Leviathan Den, Zone Dog, Belbo Rocket, C Newts, Lotus Clock. That's everybody. Thanks. I got everybody.
That's folks.